Kawhi Leonard has been riddled with injuries for the past 5 years, making it very difficult to compete for a championship. Many people think that he is taking advantage of load management and lying to fans. The question I want an answer to is, why don't we just trust Kawhi? Welcome back to the warm-up, baby. I always stretch before. Gotta get a little stretch out. I don't know if you can hear that. You hear that crack? Kawhi Leonard came out, and on his media day, he's talking about how people ask him, "Oh, are you gonna play? How are you gonna feel with this new 65 game in order to get like all NBA thing? Like, how's that gonna influence you?" He was like, "That's not gonna influence me at all." Like, he said, "Quote, no league policy helping me play more," which is true. And as a Clippers fan, let's get that out of the way. I'm a Clippers fan, obviously. So, as a Clippers fan, I believe Paul George and Kawhi. When they say they can't play, bro, I believe that they can't play. Okay? They're hurt. They tore Kawhi tore his ACL, tore his meniscus. I believe that. I don't think they're just sitting out to just sit out. I don't believe that. A lot of people do believe that. It is stupid. I don't understand. So he is saying, I'm a two-way player. I play hard, so you're going to come. I'm not just out there walking around. I play both ends of the floor. I see the best players on both ends every night. Either I'm guarding the best player or the best player is guarding me. Injury comes, it's what happens. So, obviously, we didn't see the Kawhi Leonard injury. Supposedly it was in Game 2 against the Suns. Or Game 1? I think it was Game 1 that he tore his meniscus. But, like, there was no, that was a bad injury. He just didn't play because he said he tore it. And people didn't believe him on that. But like when Paul George goes up for a rebound and like hyperextends his knee or sprains his knee when his knee pops back out and everyone's watching, it's all over social media. We obviously were like, oh yeah, Paul George, like we don't need to stop like acting like our approval matters to these players. Like, oh, that injury is valid. Man, that Klay Thompson knee injury, sheesh, man, that Jamal Murray knee injury, man, you guys can just relax. But like as soon as Kawhi, like we don't see an injury happen, we're like, what? Like, I don't believe it. And Kawhi's a tough dude. You think this dude's gonna be all, my knee, like, ouch, in the middle of a playoff game? Nah. Like if it happened during a playoff game, that's not what's happening. I don't understand, bro. 2019, okay? We were comparing Kawhi to Michael Jordan in terms of like everything, like build, play style, and like especially mentality, okay? Now he's just like gone soft. Like, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me. He was that dude. 2019, full healthy season, right? With the Raptors. What happens? Title. Boom, right? This dude was absolutely ripping the Suns apart in Game 1 at like an away game against Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And that could be said for the game. I think it was 2017, I believe, when Kawhi was really high in MVP rating and voting on the Spurs. And they're up, I think, 2-1 against the Warriors. In the playoffs, Kawhi goes down because Zaza runs in and Kawhi lands on his foot, boom, right? And then it's just, he's a hard player. I don't understand. Like, we got to remember what Kawhi Leonard was and who he is currently. Like, he's still an amazing dude. I love talking to people about being a Clippers fan because everyone's like, oh, rest in peace, your ability to watch fun basketball games. Which is not true. It is tough. Being a Clippers fan for the past like 10 years, it's been tough. But the best part about it is I bring up, we have Kawhi Leonard. And everyone's like, everybody. Dude, I have not had a single person that has disagreed with that statement. They're always, no one has been, oh, Kawhi Leonard's not that good. Blah, blah, blah. He's injured all the time. It's always like, yeah, like, oof, Kawhi, man. Like, if you could play, bro. Like, and some people have been like, oh, but he's injured all the time. And I'm like, okay, but if he's not injured, like, would you want to play a healthy Kawhi Leonard in a playoff series? Nobody wants to play a healthy Kawhi Leonard in a playoff series. You don't want to do it, bro. He shut down Giannis by himself, pretty much. In the playoff, MVP Giannis, sorry. He shut down MVP Giannis in the playoffs, like just tore through the Eastern Conference and then won the finals that year in Toronto. And obviously that's just 1 year, but it's like, how many people haven't won a championship? Westbrook doesn't have a championship. Chris Paul doesn't have a championship. Paul George doesn't have a championship. Like all these great players, Melo doesn't have a championship. All these great players don't have at least one championship. So why are we like going to criticize him for like, oh, it's just 1 year in Toronto? I don't care. It's a championship. He won a ring, bro. He beat everybody. Obviously, he had a good team and a good coach, great system. But I don't know. And it's just like, let's just trust him. Why can't we just trust Kawhi Leonard when he says that I'm hurt? Like, if he says I'm hurt, we should be like, okay, instead of being like, oh, but like, what does that do? What do you mean from that? We don't get anything from that. Like, the league is just more fun when you just look at it as a glass half full rather than just being negative. Like, I had a really big kind of epiphany when I was starting the warm up, and my whole thing was like, I wasn't even trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be like stick out because of my take here. I was like, Giannis sucks and James Harden is way better. And then Giannis ended up winning the MVP that year, and it was this whole thing. And there was beef between them, and James Harden was like, well, if I was like 6'11 and could dunk like that, like right? I should not have been hating on Giannis because now, literally, Giannis is one of my favorite players. I love Giannis Antetokounmpo. Still love James Harden. He's a little weird right now with not going to media day and all this stuff. But yeah, Giannis is just like, I should not have been negative. And it's just the same thing with the KD going to Golden State. That was a little weird, and I was like, okay at the time. But how much fun was that Warriors team to watch? Like Kevin Durant pulling up Game 3 in Cleveland, left side of the court, stop, pop, bling from like 33 feet, bang, just like basketball. Just, it was amazing, right? With Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, like against LeBron. That's good basketball. That's what I want to watch. I'm not a part of the NBA. I just want to watch, bro. And so I've kind of had this shift of like, let me just try and be positive. I just want to be positive about the league. I'm not even talking about like everyone being like buddy, like ooh, blah, blah, blah. But just like believing real people when they say something is going wrong, right? So that's all I have to say about that. It was really interesting because Paul George on his podcast, I don't have the exact quote, but he was talking to Jerry West, believe it. He was like, you think Kawhi and I are just like getting paid and just sitting out for fun? No, like we play basketball and we want to play basketball. If we could play, we'd be playing. And we've seen that. And so obviously, as a Clippers fan, it's hard for me to believe that we're actually going to not that they're not going to play. It's hard for me to believe that they're going to be healthy enough to take us to a point where we're going to win. It's like trust, right? I've got to see it. Now that I don't believe them and what they're saying, it's just the fact of the matter is that they're hurt all the time, and it's just rough to believe in that, especially when it's been going on for 4 years. And I feel really bad for the guys. I mean, Kawhi and Paul George, those are some all-time players. Kawhi's a top 20 player of all time, not even close. Like he is so good, man. Anyways, it's just rough to see that. So